Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Well, I wanted to take a look at the lithium battery for the NEATO robot vacuum. And so the lithium ion battery, this is the big fancy one. The standard ones that come with it are nickel metal hydride battery, and they last about a year, maybe a year and a half, if you exercise them, if you use them properly. So these lithium ion ones are on Amazon for $89.99 Canadian, so I figured I'd pick up a set of these because my batteries are completely dead. My robot is down there on the ground, you can see, and we're going to take a look at the box that we got here because I didn't see a lot of video reviews necessarily of this battery, so it's going to be interesting to see the lifespan. Now this one is supposed to be 4,400 milliamp hours, 4.4 amp hours. It is supposed to last up to 4 times longer than your standard battery, and the ones that come with it are 3,200 milliamp hour batteries, and this suggests that it's going to go for 110 minutes versus about 70 minutes on the standard batteries. So there's been some good reviews and some bad reviews, some reviews about them overheating, etc. But anyways, this is supposed to be a lot better, and lithium ion is not supposed to have a memory on it like nickel metal hydride. So we're going to see how this works. So here's the box that I got, and I don't have a stand to put you guys on. Let's put you over here. I want to get these unboxed because I want to start charging them, but I didn't want to miss you guys seeing what was in here. So we get our HEPA filters. That's quite nice. I assume the one that's in mine is still the original. So I got 3 of those. Nice purple ones. That's good. So these are from Cybertech. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't think I did mention that. And these are the lithium ion 14.8 volt. Well, combined, I think they're each 7.2 volt, or they should be supposed to be. 4.4 amp hour. That should be milliamp hour. No, oh no, that's correct. 4.4 amp hour. I think in their description they say 4,400. Oh yeah, what do they say there? Yeah, 4,400 amp hours. That would be 4,400 milliamp hours, but 4.4 amp hours. So this is the vacuum cleaner batteries. These are meant for it. So with this we get our Cybertech lithium ion battery, a little bit user manual. It's supposed to charge the battery for at least 5 hours before using for the first time. And I have had people have issues with the unit not recognize them. Guide: if the battery cannot be installed or does not function regularly under normal circumstances, the problem might be in the battery cells. So it says it's compatible with the XV 11, 12, 14, 15, 21. The 21 is what I have. The 25, the Pro, the Signature, and Essential models. So you're supposed to install the battery, connect the power plug, select new battery, because that resets the logic internally in the robot so that it resets its counter or whatever. Vacuum cleaner will record the last charging time to determine its next running time, so please charge the battery at least 5 hours to reach maximum operation time. At the initial usage, please constantly charge your battery to extend the time. So there's a what do you call it? A work-in time to the battery, just like an engine. So here it is, comes in bubble wrapped. Of course, you get 2 of them. Now the difference is that this one is flat on top. I'm actually going to pause the video and I'll pull out one of the existing ones. I will note off the top that this is lighter, and let's compare the two. Alright, we're back. So here's the original nickel metal hydride, 23 watt hours, 3,200 milliamp hours. Not that you can see that, but 7.2 volt battery. You can see the standard design. So here we've got the new lithium ion battery, and they're about the same size. The lithium ion has a flat top on it. Let's see, it says for XV11, XV12, it goes through them all again, and it says, yeah, 7.4 volt, which is good. This is 7.2 volt, so a little bit more power in this, actually. That's kind of interesting. So that's going to make all the motors run a little bit faster. That should help it in general with the torque of everything. And so this one doesn't show watt hours, but 4.4 amp hours versus this one, which is 3.2 amp hours basically. That's what it turns out to be. So the weight, the nickel metal hydride is a bit heavier. Not a huge difference in weight, honestly. A little bit lighter. The reason I'm concerned about that is the weight of the batteries add ballast to the robot. They're sprung in a certain way so that the robot hugs the ground without kind of popping up and bouncing. So the weight is going to be key. And I don't know if they've added any weight to this, but the other thing I will note is that I do see a PCB board in here. some electronics to otherwise charge the lithium ion differently, because they will charge differently than the nickel metal hydride. But overall, exact same design. Looks like maybe 4 batteries in there versus the 6 nickel metal hydride if you look at the curves on the outside of it. So that's it. Got our 2 batteries, so this should be ready to go. The connectors are exactly the same. One is clear plastic, the other is white, but you can see that they're exactly the same as there. So let's go ahead, we'll plug these in and see how it works. Now, I might as well come over and I'll show you plugging them in, because just to see how they work, how they fit in. So I'll put this one back in. Here's the original one. Put that back in. It sits a little bit lower. Put this new one in, so it's a tiny bit higher, but otherwise it's going to plug in fine. I'm not going to plug that in right now. I'm going to go ahead and I hope you can see that. I'm going to say that again just in case you didn't. I have this one in here, and it sits a little bit higher than this one. Well, maybe they're the same size. Has these little tabs here, I guess, for easy pulling. Let's go ahead and remove this cover here. And we're going to pull out our other nickel metal hydride, and we're going to plug in, let's go over here, this may be a better view. I'm going to plug in our new lithium ion. So I'm going to plug them in together. Now this one will probably light up, but it will need to be charged, so we'll plug it into our charger right away, and we'll charge it for 5 hours, and you're supposed to do that before you start using this thing. Let's just plug those in snugly. And then I'll just fold over the wires, and there's plenty of room there to put the lids back on. So far so good. I was kind of worried about the fit, but the fit and finish there seems okay. You'll notice I do need to clean the hair out of my brush. I will be installing the new HEPA filter as well. Replacing the filter is good because that's one location where you're going to have decreased performance. If you have a plugged filter in there, it's not going to suck as hard as it would with a new filter. So putting a new filter in, and we got 3 of them with this combo pack, which is kind of nice. Putting a new filter in means you'll get maximum airflow, and it won't be restricted. Now with the higher voltage of these, we're also going to get each of the motors running a bit faster, so that in theory, by my experience, what I've seen is that the brush will spin a little bit faster, the suction motor will spin a bit faster, and in general, like, it should actually clean better, have higher suction, more power in the brush, etc., because of the higher voltage. So this did not turn on at all. Let's press the power button. Absolutely nothing in there right now. So let's go ahead and plug this into the wall, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I've temporarily moved my charger to my office here, just while I monitor it while it charges the first time. So we're going to move it up to its base for the first time, and let's see if it charges. It's not giving me any indication of anything charging, but it's firmly against the charge pad, so wish there was some indication. I should be able to come back in 30 minutes and see that there's a little bit of power, a little bit of juice in those things. So, but I should have power. Oh, yep, I see a light on. Okay, can you see that? There is a green light on there, so it is trying to light up. So it's sucking in power right now. So I'm going to let it charge, and we'll be back once it's done, and we'll see how it goes. While I'm at it, I figured I'd go ahead and one of these new things in and toss out the old filter. I'll show you how dirty the old filter is. Here's a picture. New filter on the left, old filter on the right. You can see the difference in color. I have no idea how old this filter is, but it's certainly packed up. So getting a nice new filter is going to let this thing breathe, going to let it have more suction, etc. So really nice to have a throw-in of the extra 3 filters. That's part of what sold me on this one, not to mention the lithium ion. I could have got lithium ion batteries standalone, but I saw this one with the 3-pack, and it's a no-brainer. to get some new filters for it. So I'll toss that one. So we'll be back in a sec when this thing is done charging. All right, well, the story begins here where I get into what I had to do with the batteries. The batteries were a bit different. They had issues, but standard issues apparently that come with the lithium-ion batteries. So let's get into the rest of the video, and I'll talk through what I'm doing and what I had to do with these batteries. So yes, the story starts. The batteries were not charging on the NEATO charger itself. It didn't seem to be going anywhere, but that seemed standard, and I had read before that sometimes these get into a bit of a sleep mode, hibernate mode, and I found out quickly that they wouldn't charge on my hobby charger either. I had to plug them in, unplug them, plug them in, unplug them. I did that 3 times before they actually started taking some amperage. Now at this point in time I thought you could actually see the display. Apparently I never learned, and you never can see this display. But it's at charging at this point. It was at like 7.5. It was pretty low. The batteries come out of the box pretty low voltage. I eventually cranked this up to 4 amps, and it eventually did charge enough. But I blew my power brick that I was using to charge my hobby charger. But it did charge enough to actually to the place where I could put the batteries in the NEATO, and the NEATO came alive. So now I've got them partially charged, and I've got it plugged into the charger. Now I'm going through the menu, and again, I thought you could see the screen, but apparently you can't. So what I'm doing is, actually, let me pause this and see if it does. No, I tried to adjust the contrast. But anyways, you got to go into menu and basically tell it that it's a new battery, and that helps it to reset, I guess, the amp hour calculation that it has. I also went in and went ahead and set the calendar option. Now at this point, even when I had plugged it in before, it wasn't really charging. It was sitting at like 5 watts. So if the NEATO doesn't really think it needs a charge, or it doesn't know what to do, if you put these batteries in fresh and you haven't woken them up from air quotes hibernate mode, it will sit there and draw about 5 watts. And then once it's fully charging, it will pull about 40 watts. So here I've got my Blue Planet a voltmeter, wattmeter, whatever you call it, that I plugged into. You can see at the very top number 41, that's the wattage. It draws about 40 watts when the batteries are actually charging. And here it is. And I just wanted you to hear that on these new batteries, which are 7.4 volts, so the original batteries are 7.2 volt, this thing has a lot more power, significantly. And now my batteries are really dead. But it is really blowing a lot of air through the back of that, which I had not experienced with the nickel metal hydride that I kind of rescued myself from significant exercising on my hobby charger. The airflow rate, the feet per minute, cubic feet per minute, is massively changed from the old batteries. You'll see a huge difference. The whole unit is more powerful. It is louder. I used to be able to hear the winding of the wheels running more than I'd actually hear the blower running. But now the blower is significantly louder. It really winds up everything. Everything's just more powerful on the unit. So from that point of view, the lithium ion, you probably would have got the same change, really, probably with the nickel metal hydride. But regardless, and during that clip as well, you kind of heard in the background how loud it kind of spins up to speed there. I should have been quiet for a second there, but you'll hear it in the background anyways. It is louder, like I say, than the old batteries, and you'll notice that as well. Otherwise, like, it pretty much operated the same. Some people say there's better navigation. I think maybe that's because if you're really low on voltage, then the little spinning laser isn't going to spin properly enough to where the robot can kind of get accurate, timely view of where it's going, or map of where it's going. So overall, the suction is hugely improved. It really cleans significantly. Like I'm talking, not just twice as good, probably 4 times as good as the old batteries, maybe even more than that. It is really sucks quite strongly now with those fresh batteries. Now, I have had to. It's not up to full capacity yet. You're supposed to use it quite a bit initially to kind of get the batteries exercised to where the NEATO knows what the range is, what the life is of it. But otherwise, awesome upgrade. And these should last 4 times as long as the nickel metal hydride. I'm hoping for at least twice as long because they're twice the price. So it should be a good buy. So I definitely recommend the Lithium Ion. And I don't think you can find them for a lot cheaper than $80. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.